Welcome back to the Bootroom Podcast. Now, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome our guest. But before we do, Harry Hennings, Romania has been put back on the map.
It absolutely has. I mean, I'm sure you're very pleased, obviously, as well. But
wait.
look, this is our second international guest in a week.
Yeah.
But big thanks to Vlad for coming. So, can't wait for this one.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today. I'm really, happy to be here. And I'm really looking forward to this day.
Well, of course. And, we take our hat off to you, even though we don't have any hats on, because, you've not just travelled here, but you're going home today as well.
Yeah.
So what's your flight been like so far?
To be honest, better than expected. I mean, we didn't have any delays like we usually have.
There we go. Didn't you arrive early?
Actually did, 30 minutes earlier.
There we go.
Yeah, and the pilot had such a smooth landing with all of the wings in Luton. And I was like, oh my God. I was a bit nervous though on landing.
Okay.
But kudos to the pilot.
Yeah, that's good. You're here, which is the main part.
Yeah, exactly.
And you said that you had breakfast as well at the cafe. Was that a full English breakfast or was that?
Yes, obviously. I love English
At the
breakfast.
airport?
No. In
Farringdon, was it?
Farrington, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
near Farrington Station, yeah. I'm not sure the other areas. Cool. Yeah, but it's one of my pleasures when I come to England or the UK as a whole, like having English breakfast, enjoying the full experience.
Yeah,
They should. Yeah.
And what's it like for the English breakfast? Is there black pudding on there?
No.
Okay, good.
So no black pudding, no beans. And depending on my mood, I'll either have tomatoes or not.
Oh, tomatoes are great.
I don't have tomatoes.
And that depends. Today I had tomatoes,
Nice.
but usually I don't.
No beans though?
Yeah. No beans.
No beans.
No, we're not used to eating beans at home, even like for lunch.
Okay,
or
fair enough.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we eat, like Romanian people eat beans a lot, but
Yeah.
not me especially.
Well, that's a letdown because let me tell you, tomatoes make or break the English breakfast because
They break it.
no, they don't. They make it because you can have like your normal. If you go to the shop and get like a big tomato and you cut it, right, or you can get a tin tomato and they're really like sweet. I don't know if you've had them before.
Sweet tomatoes, no. Like grilled tomatoes,
Grilled
yeah.
and
Yes.
sweet in the tin.
Don't think so. I didn't actually enjoy the full experience then.
Oh, yeah, you didn't. You should come back again and
Yeah.
eat it again. So when you go home, are you planning to have any more English cuisine or?
Yes, fish and chips.
Oh,
In a pub with a pint, so.
There we go.
Fun experience.
Central London, go there, have a Guinness. Yeah,
Nice,
Yeah,
like a
I've been used to it.
Guinness.
I've lived in Cardiff for 3 years,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I had like English people, Welsh people living with me, so they've taught me the right ways from a young age.
And obviously, we spoke before about your journey here on the train, or the Lizzie line as we called it. So,
Yeah.
what's your experience with that compared to the metros in Romania?
I don't want to make such a great comparison, but like you said, the Lizzie line is very clean for me, and they're very fast metros here. And sometimes I find it very complicated to move around the line, so I always have to check Google Maps. At home is much more easier, as I think we have 5 or 6 lanes, and that's it. And obviously, London is not as Bucharest is not as big as London,
Yeah.
so yeah. But I like the fact that I can go to subway with the metro everywhere I can in London. Yeah.
When I was in Romania, I took a bus. It's, when you go
No,
somewhere. Well, when you go somewhere and you sort of forget the experience. I just remember that I went on a bus in Romania and it was it was late. Do you pay for the buses in Romania?
Yes, it's like half a quid in your currency.
Yeah.
But we're in the summer, you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the summer.
It was from the spa.
Yeah. If the bus is full in the summer, just walk.
Really?
Yeah, you don't want to experience. I mean, it depends on the line. Some lines, are always full.
Yeah.
But some are very cool, and like the airport ones, and but the central ones are very full. And
Yeah.
It's minimal, but I find European transport very interesting because in
yeah.
the Netherlands, I went to Amsterdam in February, and we took trams everywhere, and they're amazing because they're still on the road, aren't they? But they
Yeah.
go through. Do you have trams as well?
No. I mean, we have trams in between cities, like from Bucharest to cities around it, and from central Bucharest to the airport.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very hard for someone that lives, let's say, to make a comparison, someone that lives in Luton, it's very hard to come into London with a train. And obviously, anywhere like near London, it's easy to go with the train in London. But in Bucharest, you either take the bus, which takes a lot to come, or you need to have a car.
Yeah.
So you're dependent on a car most of the times. If you want to be there on time, the bus, it's public transport, but it's slow. Yeah, so we don't have many trains, and the metros are only within the metropolitan area of Bucharest.
Okay.
So they don't go like here from the
To the
Heathrow to central London to what else? Wembley and even further out, Reading, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, Reading.
Down the road,
Now we're trying to build a metro near the airport because I live just by the airport
Yeah.
in near Bucharest, and it's going to take like 4 or 5 years more to build. But when it's going to be
Hopefully
done,
it's worth it. though.
yeah, it will be worth it for sure.
And I'm presuming it's going to be quite cheap because, well, I know that England's got the most expensive transport system in London.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And it's very expensive. And but there's this saying in London specifically where we're not used to waiting more than 4 minutes for a train because
very
we're
frequent.
You're
spoiled.
lucky, yeah.
In Romania, it's pretty hectic.
I mean, the metros during the week, like the blue line, as we call it, is like the central ones where we have all the big corporations, offices, makes the connection with the old town and stuff like that. It comes like every 4 or 3, even 3 minutes during the week.
Yeah.
So it's quite fast, but with other lanes, it can be also 15 minutes wait. Yeah, so it's.
Very fast.
No, me neither.
But
No.
it's cheap, like you said. So when I've moved to Bucharest 5 years ago, it was half a quid.
Yeah.
Now it's a quid. So
Yeah.
they've doubled it.
Yeah.
We can feel it. But if you have like a pass or anything like that, it should be it should be fine. I mean, compared to London, of course.
And we were speaking actually. Well, you told us that it's. You said it's £50 for a return flight today.
Yes, around that. Yeah.
Not a bad price at all, is it?
Well, I think.
Bought 6 weeks ago. So yeah.
Okay, so if you book
Yeah.
it in advance, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And we spoke about we have to mention the spa. So how do you? I call it therme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect pronunciation.
There we go.
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, obviously I went there with my family. It was unbelievable. I've gone in your ear so many times to tell you that. But it seems to me that we can do it for under £100. So when are we going?
Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah. Summer's round the
Summer,
corner.
summer, yeah.
Yeah.
Some might say that this is an ad, but no, it's amazing. Like you can have everything: sauna, massage, outside pool, inside pool, steam baths.
The slides?
You name it is right there.
Yeah.
Palm trees, everything, and also the slides. I mean, we're not children, but
We are at times, aren't
sometimes,
we?
yeah, you want to feel
want
the
to.
experience of
100%.
going
I
down
love
the
slides.
slides, having that
Yeah.
adrenaline.
Yeah.
inside,
course.
yeah.
And the slides are huge. Like some of
I
them,
bet
like,
they are, yeah.
I think one of them went out. Yeah, one of them did. You know those ones that
Oh, yeah.
you go down and it's like it spins you round.
Yeah.
It was outside and it sort of got clogged up of like 20 people just sitting in like the big
Yes.
bowl.
And then you drop out into the water, don't
Yeah.
you?
And the lifeguard's looking at you like, where have you been?
That was the scariest one for me.
Really?
When I was like, what's happening? I didn't know, Yeah.
Well,
What's going on?
For me, it might just be the water pressure, but because I'm a big guy, and I think we all are here, it sometimes takes me like a while to get down the slide.
Yeah, the
'cause
taller you are, yeah.
You get stuck, have to push yourself along, don't you?
it's not so much a slide, it's more of like a pushing rowing machine, Joe. Right, anyway, Vlad, we are here to speak about your career with a sprinkle of Romanian life in there as well. So, you're a young guy, 27,
Yes, yeah.
and growing up in Romania or in the early 2000s, what was that like?
It was a very chilled lifestyle, I mean, I came from a family that's, let's say, has a mid-income. And yeah, I had the support. I was lucky enough to have the support of both of my parents. And I grew up in a city called Galați. So it's like in the eastern side of Romania near the border with Moldova and Ukraine. So as we say, it's the region of Moldova. So we have 6 regions in Romania.
Yeah.
So when I went to Bucharest after I stayed in Galați for 18 years, people immediately would recognize my accent. Oh, you're from Moldova. So, yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. Even though it's the southern part,
Yeah.
people from
difference.
Bucharest have this.
Wow.
Idea of
Romania's a
smelling you.
And Moldova's a really small country.
yeah, yeah.
So to be able to fish someone out from like...
Yeah.
Impressive.
No, so you have Moldova, the country,
Yeah.
but also the Moldova region in Romania,
Okay, yeah.
which is obviously near the border.
And that
as well.
happens a lot in Eastern Europe, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these regions and who owns what and things like that.
Yeah.
And have you always had an interest in football?
Yes. I mean, I've played football in an academy there until I was like 12 or 13. Not the. I mean, I wouldn't call it academy. It's a big word for what we've had. But I've had a good experience. So I started as a goalkeeper. I was the worst one, probably 6th choice now.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I went to a club, and the coach there said, "You know what? We have too many goalkeepers. Just play outfield, please." And I started playing. I remember as a center back. I still remember my first goal in the 8-a-side. My father was very proud. Okay, you can play football. You can go into training, But then I had to go into the 7th or 8th grade around there, and my grades weren't so good. And my parents made me choose between education or football. I couldn't do both at the same time. Looking back, I think I could have, but probably I wouldn't be here if I did. And yeah, that was a good choice to make back then. And then I decided to actually go for high school that's specialized in maths and IT. So, coming into football from maths and IT is not very usual. But I found this passion quite interesting. We had a small 5-a-side 3G pitch in the yard. Not every high school did that. And I used to play around with my mates, like starting from the second year of high school till third year of high school. Like we'd skip classes to play football. And teachers wouldn't mind it because we were good students. So sometimes they would just let us play, especially when it was springtime. And one day, I think it was 11th grade, one of my best mates come and said to me, you know what? You know so much about football. You always play football. You should become a coach. And I took that seriously, actually. He was joking, but I took that seriously.
Yeah.
And then I started looking for universities that specialize in football or sports coaching. And I know that in Romania, it wouldn't be possible for me to achieve that career. So I went out and looked for universities in UK and Netherlands. Netherlands weren't so specific in football. They were mostly like sports coaching, sports management. And, I don't like being a project manager, what I thought is back then administration and things like that. So I just applied like for 5 universities in UK, had how should I say this, not a battle with my parents, but a rough argument, especially with my mother, because when she heard about football, me coming from an IT high school, high school specialized in IT, she's like, oh, you're not going to make any money, you're not going to become something, it's very hard, you're not a footballer. And she was right at that time, because we don't have any professional footballers in our family. No one has been into football. Like, even when I went into dinners with my large family back in the days, we were literally talking about football, and those would be like discussion about Steaua and Dinamo Bucharest, because it was that battle back in the days. It still is, but back then it was huge. Like, you would either choose between Steaua and Dinamo. There's nothing in between. And she said to me, I'm not going to allow it. But my father came and said, you know what? If he wants to do this, then let's let him do this. Because I took a loan to apply for university in the UK, and her biggest fear was that I wouldn't be able to pay that back.
Which is a big concern.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But I explained that to her, that I need to have a special, like a certain income, and be hired in football. And now I'm starting to pay back that loan, step by step. But it's worth it. Yeah, it's obviously worth it. Yeah.
Sounds absolutely worth it, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah,
and you're here today. It's like you're now full time. 6 years, 7 years later.
Since the bachelor graduation, 6 years. Yeah,
There we
6
go.
years. Yeah,
And you're full time.
Yes.
And
yes.
you've still got so many years left.
Yeah, it's a dream come true.
It's funny as well, because actually you studied mathematics and IT, but those are two things that are very, very important with football analysis, aren't they?
Yeah, I didn't expect that, to be honest. Yeah, because when I decided to become a coach and go to university, because the profile was called Football Coaching and Performance, I didn't know anything about analysis, like video analysis, football analysis, data analysis. I didn't know these things existed because they weren't as pushed like into the media back in the days in Romania. Like, I didn't know video analysts existed until when I came into the UK in the first year, and someone told me, we have these clubs that are looking for someone to film their games, code their games, cut clips about their tactical intention and stuff like that. And I was like, I can do that. I'm good with computers. I'm not a programmer, or how we
a programmer.
Yeah, a programmer. Yeah. So I wasn't into that, but I can do very well in other stuff. So that was very easy for me to get used to when I started working with the videos. Yeah.
You said that you code games.
Yes.
Is that the right term?
Yes.
What is that? I've never ever heard of this.
Yeah. So basically, there are different analysis softwares, and to code a game, basically you cut clips from that game, so you can have event data and labels. So we'd have the specific data, shots, passes, corners, everything you see on SofaScore and other websites, UEFA as well, that give you the general statistics. And what we do mostly now is that we do the tagging of the coding and tagging of the tactical events. And basically we cut off building from the back, construction phase, pressing high, transitions, So we try and have that game already into small clips after the match is finished. So basically that's what my job is at the moment, most of it.
Fun.
It does, yeah. It's something that I'd like to do because obviously Jamie and I are both interested by coaching and something we'd like to do, maybe do our badges one day as well.
Yeah.
But obviously we both played and we probably have to accept that we won't go pro, unfortunately. But
Unless you can help us.
unless you can help us make it
I
happen.
do,
Yeah. But yes, no, so obviously there's obviously like recruitment and performance analysts as well. So how does that sort of differ from what you do?
So basically recruitment is, from what I know, I haven't worked in recruitment analysis, is similar to scouting, but what you do is like you look after the players and you try and see if they fit the club's profile. Like, for example, if your club has a specific philosophy, you look into certain clubs that have a similar philosophy and if you can find players like that. If not, then obviously you look for other players. But that's how obviously top clubs work. In Romania, we have clubs with scouting departments, but I don't think we have actual recruitment analysts, like guys that go into that much detail, into depth of looking into a player. Yeah.
And I was going to ask you actually about these philosophies of clubs because they do differ. I mean, the philosophy can change depending on the manager.
Yeah, of course.
So when Patrick Vieira first came into Crystal Palace, for me, it was very aggressive, very attacking, very exciting to watch. You look at like a Sean Dyche at Burnley, it's a bit more,
defensive.
Yeah, direct football.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it depends on the manager, but it can also depend on the board and what the board want the manager to do. How big is the difference?
Yeah.
Does it differ a lot?
Yeah, I think that also depends on the club's history, because if you have like a club with a couple of like more years playing in a top league, they will obviously have their own philosophy starting from the academy until the top level, like Ajax has, Barcelona, things like clubs like Manchester United as well. They would look for a coach with that specific game profile that he would fit into the club. Some clubs don't have that, so the coach comes in and tries to implement that. The problem with that is that it takes quite a lot of time. Like for example, even when Ruben Amorim came into United, he tried to implement his own style of play into United. United had a different style of play, so obviously that takes a lot of time, and the results weren't as good as they should have been.
Yeah.
But I don't agree with that, like having a coach to come in and try and implement his philosophy, because that depends on the context. You cannot do that at a club like Real Madrid, like Xabi Alonso did. He had a good idea, but it's very difficult to do that in a big club when you need results tomorrow, or how you like to call it, you need results yesterday.
Yes, exactly.
Very urgent, So yeah, you can do that like with a mid club, or even with a club that's battling relegation. It's very hard to do that.
I was going to say, Watford, you've been there a few times. I go as often as I can. But managers there are always in and out, right? And this happens with clubs around the world. A lot of the time at Watford specifically, the backroom team seems to stay. So let's say you're at a club and you stay at the backroom team and there's 5 managers across 2 seasons. Do you have to implement and say, hang on a minute, this is how we want to play, or do you just listen to the boss?
No, I think the backroom staff job is to show the coach what they can bring to the table. So from what I know from my experience in Romania is that obviously coaches come and go. Some coaches come with their staff, and some of them usually have analysts. When that happens, usually the coach implements his style and also the way he works with the club. But clubs that have that backroom staff full time, they have to adapt to the coach's demands. So yeah.
Are there any managers now that you look up to in terms of their coaching?
Sorry?
Are there any managers that manage now that you look at and you think, I love their style of play?
In Romania, yes.
Okay.
So most recently, I've seen Universitatea Craiova, which are the first place team now. There was the ex-footballer that started the season there, Mirel Rădoi. He played as a centre back for Steaua Bucharest, and defensive midfielder. I said centre back, yeah. And he implemented a good style of play, playing 3-5-2, and unfortunately, he quit like almost when the regular season ended.
Yeah.
So the club had to bring in a manager that had to play his style of play, because it wasn't the time to bring someone to implement something new.
Yeah.
And now he's been Rădoi has been approached by Steaua Bucharest, FCSB, and
Which they need a new manager.
yeah. But he'll try and implement that style of play because he brought his backroom staff with him. But it's going to be very difficult because there's 2 months left of the season, so he'll try to adjust that.
Sounds familiar at Spurs. Yeah.
Too familiar, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the issues at Spurs? And
Unfortunately, yes, because we have Drăgușin there.
yes, I
So
thought so.
I try to follow Spurs as often as I can.
Okay.
This season it's been hard to watch. I've watched the match against Atletico, and I thought, what are they thinking?
Yeah. Do you feel that Dragushin should have started that game? Maybe.
Yes.
I think he's a good player.
Yes.
He is a good player.
I like him.
He gets a lot of hate because he's not the quickest, but in terms of ball playing and aerial ability and strength, he's a very, very good defender.
Yeah. I mean, he's not the fastest one, but do you need a centre back to be fast at all times?
That's the thing.
It's a trend, of course. Yeah. But he needs to defend well. Obviously, he needs to not put you into trouble. I mean, he can play the ball very good, but we always want to build from the back, like Spurs did. I mean,
exactly.
You have to adapt during a game.
Well, you said there that having fast centre backs is a trend. Maybe wing backs are a trend.
Yeah.
What's the next trend that's going to come soon? Do you think?
It's something that I've enjoyed in the last season with the head coach that I've worked with. So playing with 2 strikers. So playing a 4-4-2, but adapting it with the players you have. So not a classic 4-4-2, but more of a 4-diamond-2. So
okay.
Diamond in the middle, So that's something I want to see more in football nowadays, because it's a system that obviously you need to play more direct, you need to play more centrally, but having 2 strikers at all times can put the opposition into difficulties. You know, especially in teams now playing with 3 centre backs.
Yes, exactly. And this is another trend. And it's, as you touched upon earlier, it's very hard now for a manager to come in and change the whole club, as you said, because they might not have enough wingers or they might not have enough wing backs, because what the formation that you want to do is different to the formation you want to do.
Exactly.
And the players just don't work.
Yeah.
And it might get to a point, maybe you could tell us that, does it ever get to a point where a player goes, I can't play there, I'm not going to play there?
Because you imagine you come into the summer as a new manager, you had your backroom summer, the recruitment analyst, performance analyst, scouts, sporting director. They brought the players. Probably the head coach asked them to bring these players, or the club felt like they needed these players. So the manager comes and goes. He comes and says, oh, but these players are not good for my style of play. So you as a club, what do? You just sack those players. I mean, you can coach them to play like differently than they did.
Does that take a long time?
But yeah. I mean, it depends on the player as well. Like if he's a smart player, intelligent player, I don't think it takes more than a couple of weeks.
Suppose life, for example.
Yeah. But if it's like with the Romanian players, it takes some time. From my experience, from what I know, like from inside. So like players should be adaptable.
Oh, 100%.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a professional football player, you should be able to use both feet.
I was going to say the same thing.
And adapt to playing positions. But
players find excuses all the times. Like, I cannot play with a back 3. I cannot play as a wing back. I cannot play with a second striker near me. If you play with 2 strikers, I like to play alone. These are just excuses, you know. And it's a head coach responsibility to make the players understand, because you can easily coach a player. You can easily coach your philosophy, your tactical terms and stuff like that. But it's very hard to make a player understand what is better for them, because especially if you work with more experienced players, that's the most difficult part. Younger players are more open into trying new things.
I would have thought the opposite. I would have thought a younger player would be harder to adapt because they're so used to being a left back for those last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But maybe not.
Well, an example of that is Archie Gray, if you know him, at Tottenham.
I think he was in the Euros as well. In Romania. Is he 2006 born?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
So obviously his preferred position is a central midfielder.
Yeah.
But when he came into Spurs, he was being used as a right back, then a centre back, then a left back, and then a DM, and he was constantly being shifted around. But he's very young. He's actually 20 today, by the way. But at 20 years old, and he's no issue about it. Whatever he said, he came out and said, "Wherever I'm asked to play, I'll play there. I'm a professional footballer." That's the mindset you have to have.
Yeah. Because I think he realizes that I'm still young. I still have time to adapt.
Yeah.
If I'm going to a head coach when I'm 19 or 20 and say, coach, I cannot play a centre mid or I cannot play as a right back, the head coach will not care.
Exactly.
I mean, there are very few coaches that would say, oh, okay, you cannot play right back. And someone else will.
Exactly.
So you might lose your spot, you might lose your chance, you might lose the train, like we say.
Yeah.
So it's very smart of him to try all of this position without saying something back to the head coach. Probably he doesn't say something back, directly. But yeah, if he can adapt, then you can see he's a top class player.
Exactly that.
I think Kimmich is the same, defensive midfielder, right back.
Yes.
He can play this.
And he's one of the best in the world now, obviously, isn't he? Yeah.
You never see him complain about it.
He has a great mentality.
Yeah, of course.
Doesn't he? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's a few good players that played, even just against this Norwegian side. So you had Mikey Moore, Watson, that name rings a bell. I don't quite know who. Mafuni, for example, who now was at Watford.
Yeah.
And Tommy Stepford. Remind me of what team he plays for.
Was it City?
I think it might be. I think so. You were up against some of these players, and it's
I mean,
in this tournament as a whole,
yeah,
who stood out the most?
yeah. So it's the player from Netherlands, Smith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is he?
He's been linked
AZ.
with City. Yeah, he's AZ Alkmaar.
Yeah.
He's been linked with City and Madrid. And when I heard the news, I was like, I knew it. I knew this would happen one day, but not as soon as I thought it would. So
Yeah.
imagine we played Netherlands in the semifinals last year. We've seen Smith and his abilities of passing, moving in between the lines, scoring these spectacular goals, because he scored some bangers in the Euros. It's like, oh my God. You know, like you can see, like he played in the senior game for like, I think it was the second season in Alkmaar. Yeah, and now he's been linked with these top teams, you know, and he's very young. You know, another one is the center back from the right back from the Netherlands team, which I still remember the game against England when Netherlands played, and they've won 4-2 Netherlands. It was an action. He started from the right back, and when he scored the goal, he was in a left wing position.
Really?
Yeah.
What player was that?
I forgot his name.
Okay.
Yeah, I still remember he has number 2. He had a Dutch name.
Okay.
It slips my mind. So maybe you can help me.
Well,
yeah.
and he played in that same game, did he?
Against England, yeah.
Okay.
Netherlands, England. Yeah.
Netherlands, England. We'll
Yeah.
find it. We'll find it.
Yeah. It's I just spoke about him. I think 2 weeks ago in a seminar with UEFA.
There we go.
Number 2, you said, right?
Yes.
He was on the bench in this game, I think.
I know who you mean.
Rowe.
No.
Dest.
No, Dest.
Serginho
He
Dest.
started and he got subbed off.
Serginho Dest.
Serginho Dest.
And he went to
Wow.
Barcelona, didn't he?
No, not Dest. No. Reed, yes.
Reed.
Number
Okay.
2.
Yes, number 2.
Yes, Reed, that's it.
I'm not Dest. Reed.
Reed.
Okay.
Well, Dest is an older guy. Now.
Yeah, Dest
I
is
did
older.
think
Yeah.
that. He's
But Dest, yeah, it doesn't
He's also
become-
good, isn't he? Yeah. And he's also very versatile.
Yes,
Dest.
yes,
He
exactly.
can play left wing, right back, left back,
Yeah.
can't he?
So when you played Netherlands and we see that these players, obviously you'd have, because this is the second thing I wanted to touch upon, you would always have the 4-3-3 system, the basic one, but then the players from the Netherlands, they wouldn't care during a game if they started from the right back, they become left wingers. They would just play very good in that specific part of the pitch as well. The center backs would become like, sometimes they would be like 5 feet from our box. So they'll become like a midfielder or even wingers. It was mental to see it live. You know, I just remember I stand on the bench, and I think it was the right center back from Netherlands, and he was like, our center back had to man mark him.
Yeah.
And it was an open play situation. I was like, wow, look at the courage they have.
Well, it is quite crazy when you think about, for example, England. A lot of these players that we've just mentioned, 4 or 5 of them, I could easily list off that now in the Championship, League One, or even someone being in the Premier League. I mean, I think Mafuni, before he went to Watford, he was at City in the Champions League. And you must feel a bit, I mean, you did really well in the tournament, which we will speak on shortly.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when you're coming up against some of these players, is it demotivating or is it motivating?
It is very motivated, trust me. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I mean, it's not demotivated because you come as an underdog and you're thinking like, okay, now this is the final test for our players. And we took each game as a final because we've analyzed our opponents from our group, and they're very good players, especially Spain. So Spain, most of them played at senior.
Yeah.
But then when we went to scout and analyze the other games, we easily said that these under-19 players would easily play in our first division in Romania. And it was a bit frustrating to see that not many people came and actually watched the games, even though Romania wasn't playing, because there were a lot of things to learn. And even before the tournament, like in 2024, in October, we had a friendly tournament with Spain, Germany, and Norway. So all teams were in the Euros, so that was a good tournament for us to prepare. And I still remember it was the Spain against Germany game, and I was with the head coach, the assistant coach, and I think it was also the head of coaching from the federation. And we all agreed that the head coaches from the Romanian Super League, the first division, should see this game, because these players here can easily play in the league. You know, I think all of them, with like not exaggerating, the rhythm of the game and the courage these players have and the physicality and how they, you know, they look like proper footballers, proper athletes at such young age. We had those as well, but not the whole team, as Spain, Germany, Norway had. So
you mentioned that you have been a coach, but in the future, if there's ever a chance to become a head coach or a coach, then
head coach is too early to say.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just got my A license. I have some experience in coaching academy, in Steaua Bucharest, but I would say it will take quite a while, you know. Yeah, especially in Romania.
But have you got an idea as to how you'd like your team to play?
Yes, and
Talk us through it.
I'll just say it straight away. I'll try and steal the style of play we had in the under 19 Euros, the 4-4-2 or the 3-5-2, because I found it the most efficient formation we've played, and the way I've worked with the head coach and the way he explained that formation for me is very simple, and it was very efficient with the players as well. Like the players were very easy to understand, to adapt to that system. So I would try and play a direct football. I'll try and press high, obviously.
Sounds fun, yeah.
It's very easy to say this now, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Can we come and play up front?
Yeah.
Because we're both strikers, so you know.
So you have to run a lot.
Oh, perfect.
That's no problem.
Might not look like it, but we do.
You don't have the ball too much, but if you have it and score, that's fine.
that's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you want your strikers to track back?
Yes.
And
At
both
least
of them,
one.
or at least one. Yeah.
Yes.
We could both do it at once.
Yeah.
We could have two.
Or alternate.
Yeah, for sure.
So the main reason, just a spoiler alert, why we play with two strikers is that we'd always pin the two center backs of the opposition when we pressed.
Yeah.
So what we try to do, and if the people are watching want to see some games, they can search our games and see it for themselves. But we always try to have 1v1s all over the pitch, and having two strikers helped us to do that with the opposition center backs. And obviously, our back four would be against the front four of the opposition, and we'd sometimes have one of the fullbacks up, with the opposition fullback. So we'd try and have those 1v1s all over the pitch, and the players loved it. So I was talking with some of the players that are now in the Super League and asked them about the experience in Euros, and they said they enjoyed having that, aggression in the game. So I'm sure that if I'm becoming a head coach, the players will love to press high, and having that. Wish to win the ball back at all times would be something I would do, yes.
And it's really important. Sorry to interrupt, but it's all about the players' mentality.
Yeah.
We love to chase after the ball.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, of course we do. Yeah, I mean, if I was a manager, I'll definitely deploy a high press, intense game plan.
We could build a
Because
football club here, couldn't we?
we could.
Yeah. I mean, there are teams that obviously you cannot press high all times, but they like to set traps, press you out wide or wait for you in the middle block. So it varies a lot during the game. You cannot always press high, especially if you're bleeding. So if you're one up front or two up front, you're not going to press high all times. Yeah.
You mentioned that you're going to go and get a Guinness after this.
Yes.
And your time in England and Wales, you spent at university, and you're still paying the debt off, as you mentioned, from the university. I think it's probably going to get more expensive.
It's increased again.
Yeah, really.
Oh, really?
So in the UK, it's increased again. So not great, but
thankfully I finished my master's. So.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's one of those that's a real killer, because I feel it's going to do these good old people like you that want to go out of being full-time in 6 or 7 years. But your time in Wales, what was it like? Now, the last time we had a guest on that was in Wales. You asked and I'll ask it this time. When you were in Wales, how many sheep did you see?
How many ships?
Yeah.
Every time. So we had university in the city of Pontypridd, in the Three Forest area. Pontypridd.
Okay.
Yeah, not Pontypool.
Pontypanda.
I think it's nearby.
Was that a fake city?
That's in Five and Sound.
It was in Pontypridd, Three Forest, and obviously it's how do you call it here in England? Like lands of grass, farms, stuff like that. So I would obviously see ships, especially when I was on the train, because we had the sports park. It was one train station away from the actual campus. Yeah. So we always had to take the train or the car. And obviously, I didn't have a car in my first 2 years. I would take the train. Yeah, I would see ships, horses sometimes. People that walk to those farms, because UK is very walkable from what I've seen. So it wasn't shocking, but it was actually very pleasant to see, because you connect with nature. I mean, you couldn't do that in Bucharest, seeing when you go to university. Yeah,
I couldn't believe that you asked the question in the past, because it was. But we have to know, because we went to Wales. We didn't see much sheep.
We did. We went to Merthyr. Merthyr Tydfil.
I've been there,
you know it?
Yeah.
Yes, we went there
I've
to
been to a
watch.
couple of games there. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. Mostly in my first year, because one of my mates did a placement there, so I went with them, to games to watch. They had the 3G pitch. Yes, remember. I think they were even lower. I think they were 6th or 7th division back then.
Yeah,
like 8 years ago.
And now they're high flying.
National League.
They're doing well. National League North.
North. Sorry.
North. Yeah.
North?
Yeah, North. No.
No, it's North.
It's North, isn't it?
It's North.
It's North.
It's a bit high.
Yeah.
I mean, I think actually the most southern club in the Northern League, but because of where they sit, they just tip into that. So they play teams like Darlington, who are obviously near Newcastle. So they have some distance to go to.
Yeah, I think that's the most challenging part when playing National League South or North, or even proper National League, like the 5th division, the away days.
Oh yeah, it's crazy, and you still get fans that commit and they go week in week out. They go like, for example, on Tuesday I went to an Isthmian game. I went to see Chertsey Town play against Taunton. Now Taunton's Somerset and Chertsey's near here. So if you think you come from Somerset, it's about 3.5 hours on a weeknight.
Wow,
that's that's loyal, isn't it?
Imagine like you play Tuesday, Wednesday here, right?
Exactly.
The midweeks, because I'm watching Championship a lot, League One of
Nice.
Cardiff there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep in touch with the club, you know. I'm very jealous of you guys having all of these like leagues, football matches going on.
It's hard to watch though.
We're lucky.
It's expensive to watch online.
It can be, yes, it can be. Yes.
Online.
Yeah.
Online, yes.
Yeah, if you're not really in the location, then it's hard to go to. But I was going to say, so Merthyr, for example, last season they played in the Isthmian Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, obviously, the lower down you go, the more regionalised it gets.
Yes.
How regionalised is the Isthmian Prem for them to be playing in London, which they did?
Yes.
It's weird.
I
You
couldn't
don't know.
answer it specifically, but yeah.
Merthyr played in the London area.
Yeah, last year,
Oh.
before they got promoted.
Oh,
they were
okay.
playing teams in London. I'm sure they played teams near down south, like Cornwall.
Yeah.
But your time in Wales, you got some placements when you were there.
Yes.
What was that like? Because I suppose that's part of the experience when you're there.
Yeah. In my first year, I didn't manage to get any placement because I would be honest with you, I tried, to accommodate to the country, the people here.
Did you speak English before?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I had to take a test in English back home, you know, like proper British English, because in school we studied the US English, and you obviously wouldn't have all the accents.
Like soccer.
Yeah. We still call it football. Yeah. And when I came here, I had a cultural shock, especially in Wales, because the accent was very hard to understand.
Yes.
I mean, not to be mean or anything, but I mean, I think everyone knows it. I mean, I always tried and be very careful when someone talk with me. Like, I don't want to make him repeat that again because I think he'll feel bad. So I got used to it after 2 years, I think, But
Did you start to gain a Welsh accent?
Sorry?
Did you start to get a Welsh accent yourself?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But
Because when you live in a place like Wales, so if I move to Scotland from now until I'm 90, I will have got a Scottish accent.
I think I got the Welsh accent, but the British accent a bit. Because
Yeah.
when I got there in my first year, some of my mates asked me if I'm speaking Russian. I mean, no offense taken, of course. I found it very funny because Romanian is not a Slavic language; it's a Latin language.
Yeah.
And when I heard Russian, I said, okay, so it's my accent. Because I used to speak with my parents at the phone while having like English people near me, but I think they can hear the accent. Is that Russian or is it? No, we have our own English. It's Romanian. But
I can kind of tell the difference.
Yeah.
Because as I said, we had the builders who are Romanian, and Russian's very different to Romanian.
Yeah.
Very different. I don't know if you've heard it before.
I've not heard a Russian accent.
No, have you not?
No, I haven't.
Oh, wait.
No.
They're very demanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine they would be. Yeah. Whereas yours is a little bit more subtle, isn't it?
Yes.
I heard that sorry to interrupt, but in
go
Romania
ahead.
you've got 8 tenses. Is that correct?
8 tenses.
So we've got past, present, and future.
Yes.
Romania, there's 8.
Yes, and I think it also depends on the region. Like I've told you in the beginning, so we had 6 regions, and the region where I lived, especially a bit north, near the Iași, Suceava, they have a different accent where they use some words that are more specific to that region. So they will always add to the tense.
Do you know what the word gopnik means?
Got me.
Gopnik.
Gopnik.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's
like a gopnik from Russia. And I've heard of gopniks. Yeah, like Slavic gopniks.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's like
What does that mean?
roadman.
And used to call them like people in our country, people that would wear like tracksuits and
Yes.
with rival cars, do like sketchy stuff. Yeah, like gopniks is a similar word to that. Yeah.
Gopnik.
Yeah.
Because we were told we've got a Romanian teacher here,
Yeah.
and he told us to say salut to you because
Salut,
it's more of like an informal way to say hello.
Yeah.
But that's quite bizarre because we don't really have informal ways to say hello.
We don't. I mean,
Hi.
I suppose hey could be a little bit more informal, but it's very, very similar, isn't it?
Yeah. I want to speak about your time at Barca Innovation Hub. Did you go to Barcelona?
No. We did the course online.
Yeah.
Now they are doing graduation with all of the students that finished the course with them. So I'm trying to get into that just for the experience because I think they get you into a Barca game. I think they get you near their stadium training center.
Yeah.
I think you can see also a training session of the academy. So I'm actually trying to get to go there, for the graduation of my course. I finished the course 2 years ago, but still, it would be a good experience for me,
Of course.
Fortunately, I have to pay for it all. But
I've heard that Barcelona try and milk you as much as they can. I've heard that.
Really?
The stadium tours are, you pay for this, but you can also pay an extra $10 for this.
For that. Yeah. Dollars.
Euros, yeah.
Did I say dollars?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. But on this course, what did you learn? So it was 6 to 8 hours a week, we've sort of found out. 100% online, 4 months.
Yes.
That seems like quite an intense course.
Yeah, it was, because it was in person all the time, so we didn't have any online modules. Some universities now have it because of COVID. So we always had to be in uni. So we've learned, I think one of the first module was academic management. So we had to organize some events near the, how do you say it here, for local schools, regarding football tournaments, stuff like that. I found that the most difficult one because I wasn't really into it. But then we studied pedagogy, which I really enjoyed because you learned how to become a pedagogue, but with football-related terms. And it's something that I've also used in my time with Steaua because I did some assignments there. Then football psychology as well was very interesting. And another interesting part, and I'll just skip to that for a bit, is that in the bachelor we studied football psychology for the players, and then in the masters, might be the other way around. Anyway, in the master we studied football psychology for the coach. So it was a bit.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
what do they teach you in terms of the coach?
Yeah. So for the coach, it's to be very prepared for proper burnout sometimes because it can be a very demanding job. It can be very stressful. Some coaches might, have proper habits that are not very good for them, and they wouldn't realize it in time. They wouldn't call for any help, let's say. So because people don't think of the coach every time because it's a very stressful job.
That's all right.
It's a 24/7 hour job. You work nonstop, and some of the ways they taught us is ask for help, try and find something you enjoy besides football, even if it's another sport, even if it's going for a walk, connecting with nature, having a dog, a cat. I mean something that takes your mind off football. I mean, if you have a wife, try and talk stay with the family for a day or two if you have the time. Obviously,
hard.
It is very hard because that's one of the probably my biggest fear if I ever become a head coach. Would I ever have time to spend with my future family? Or time to go and see my parents? And I mean, probably I'll try and fly people in, but it's not the same. Yeah,
I never really thought about it like that because. Here you've obviously got your politicians, and no one really speaks about the politicians' mental health and things like that. For them, I'm presuming if I spoke to one manager and he said that the phone never stops when you're in a club. So if you're constantly getting a phone call, because probably phone calls rather than messages, you're not really going to decline it at 8 o'clock at night. You have to sort of pick it up.
Wow. I was actually speaking with with one of my colleagues at the federation. I would say, if someone messages me past 10 p.m., I would just not answer and say I was asleep. But that doesn't work every time because it depends on the context you're in. And he would say that he would take the call because he expects that person to answer his call back if he happens for him to call him back at 10 p.m., So it works both ways, obviously. But if you're having dinner or chilling at home or trying to stay with your parents and someone calls,
I agree.
You're used to it, of course. But the people around you will be bothered by it, and you have to deal with that as well. And it's very stressful, trust me. If you have a wife, a fiance, a girlfriend, you're trying to have a nice time, you might decline that call. But if it keeps ringing, you have to pick it up. And it's very hard for her or him to understand.
But it's important to have a balance, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mentally as well, because you have to keep your mind off it sometimes in order to actually do other things as well.
Yeah. For me now as an analyst, sometimes I feel guilty that I can take my mind off more easier than I did when I worked as a coach analyst. Because now I'm working mostly with the performance analysis, data analysis department, being in the office, and obviously working with the national team. You're not on the pitch every day, so you have time to do things you enjoy. But at the same time, I feel like I want more. I want to work more until you don't. So it can be very risky. And especially because another thing that people don't consider is that coaches can move a lot. So you might be obviously in Bucharest. You have some clubs. You might go and coach there. But you might get sacked. You might get a job from another city in Romania. You might have to move there. What do? You take your family with you. You have to come and visit. So I know from the coaches I was working with. So they would say that they would work, let's say, 5 or 6 hour drive away from Bucharest. as soon as the match is finished, they would drive home late at night, being very tired, to Bucharest or anywhere they would live, try and spend a day with the family and then be back in training.
Familiar
So
story.
obviously, you would make that. I forgot the word. Sorry.
Sacrifice?
Sacrifice. Yeah. You have to make that sacrifice, but it tires you off eventually.
Of course it does.
Well, I've heard of some people in football, but also outside of football, that would leave their family if they're going to go get a job in Dubai or in another city.
Yeah.
If you had a family, what would you do?
Yeah, I actually got a job offer once in Saudi Arabia. Didn't come true because some sketchy stuff happened, but they told me, we give you a villa, you can bring whoever you want. It's nice, you know. I think almost every club does that. I'm not sure, but one thing they said is that you can bring your family, but only after 3 months.
After 3 months?
After 3 months, because imagine you go there and getting sacked after 2 months.
Yeah.
It's not
It's not worth it, is it?
Yeah. And then you think about it. Okay, I have a wife, I have a kid. Let's think about the kids' school, kids' friends.
Mental health.
Yeah, especially have more kids. Mental health, exactly. Culture, because it's a different culture. Even if it's good like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, or I don't know, even Germany, Spain, it's still a different country, still a different context. You'll have to learn the language eventually if you stay there more.
Yeah.
And it's also again a risk. You start and learn that language. Is the risk that you might get sacked out in the blue, out of nowhere? Yeah, it's you have to think a lot, about a lot of stuff before you actually join a club abroad.
Yeah. Because if things go wrong, all of a sudden, and then you're left with actually now what do I do?
Yeah.
Because then you really are stuck, aren't you? So.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, first thing you think about is the financial safety you have in that club. Maybe it's good money, but would that actually be good for your family, for your kids, and even for yourself, or thinking about the long term?
Yeah.
It's pretty inspiring to hear someone's. I mean, look, especially, I'm presuming in Romania as well, men's mental health is something that doesn't get spoken about enough.
No.
And for you to be in an environment with young men, and also people who have been in the game for years, it must be really quite eye-opening at times to see when the manager or an assistant manager or a player does break down in front of you, because we should be used to it, but we're not.
Yeah, and it happens to every one of us, like coaches. Even myself, I broke down once. I wish I hadn't, but I see it just happens. And a good thing now in Romanian football is that in the last years, and also with the national teams, and it's a thing that helped us in the tournament as well with the under-19. Speaking from my experience, is that we're able to have a psychologist with us, so she would speak with the players on a daily basis, have meetings arranged with them, actually give them some tests, some psychology tests. It's called Vienna test. I cannot go into more detail because I'm not an expert. I studied psychology, but it's just a module. And she did a very good job, and it helped our players. Because the players opened much more easier than they would with a head coach and an assistant coach. Again, it's a very thing to have in your club, and it can also work for the staff. I also had some discussions with her, and she helped me. It's good to have someone to talk with that's not only into football. Like, obviously, I can talk to a head coach because his experience, he might understand me, but it's better to talk with someone that's an expert in people, not just football.
And people will never know exactly how you're feeling either, will they?
Yeah.
It's that sort of stuff. You may keep private to you, close to your chest, but actually sometimes you really need to let it out because it can affect you after a while. Like footballers come out and open up and say, actually, for 3 or 4 months I was struggling with my mental health. But no one knew, and no one could tell.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's no one can tell. That's
the thing.
Difficult part.
Yeah.
In 2021, now my pronunciation of this club's going to be appalling, but I can
I'm waiting
try.
for it.
Wow. Oh my word.
Go ahead.
Dacia Irina Barilla. No way.
Dacia Unirea Brăila.
That sounded quite Russian.
Is Dacia as not the
Like the
car,
car.
not
No.
the car, but the old country back in the days,
Yes.
year 100 with Dacia Ball. And I'm not going to history. I don't want to make a mistake here. And Unirea is like Union, and Brăila is the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smart.
So the Union City of Dacia.
Yeah.
Almost.
Nice. Quick. That's quick for you.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
And that for you was very positive, and you achieved some pretty good things there. What do you want to speak about first? Your promotion or winning the championship?
I think I want to speak about first of how I actually managed to get in there, because that was the most difficult part I've encountered since I, starting working in football. To give you a bit of a background, you can see that I have that experience as a scout, but it's not as a full-time role. So when I came back home after COVID, I tried to get a job in football in Romania, and no one would hire. So in the UK, you'd have all of these job advertising websites. We hire coaches, performance analysts, video analysts, scouts. In Romania, I know someone, and no one knew me, so that was very difficult. So what I did was emailed, I think, over 100 clubs from the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st division. I want a job. I can do it unpaid for at least 6 months, because I messaged them in the winter. And 2 clubs responded to me. My hometown, which they offered me, I think it was a job in the academy. And then the club, which was their rival, which is Braila. And they said, Braila, actually, the president called me, which I find it very, very connecting with someone like this is very nice for me. Yeah. And he called me and said, come over to our club and have a discussion with the coaching staff and see what we can do with your experience. And then I went there. I explained what I do as an analyst. I told him I have also a coaching badge, so I have a bit of a knowledge of how a football game works. I'm not just the guy who cuts video clips. And he said, you know what, you're hired. Yeah, we want to promote in the 2nd division. We could use an extra help. You live close by, like 20 kilometers, stuff like that. So I declined the academy offer from my hometown and moved to did the commute to Braila every single day. And the players actually welcomed me very, very warm there, because they didn't have an analyst before. They didn't know what an analyst was. Wow. So yeah, the analysis in Romania was like in the early stages back then. And when we got promoted, the word spread out. So Braila had an analyst, and people started to recognize my work, and that I'm working with a club that was able to be promoted, having an analyst in the 3rd division. So that was something back in the day. Yeah.
And do you think going in as the analyst was a big help for the promotion? Because obviously, yes, the players would have done it, but all the behind-the-scenes stuff is just as important.
Yes. I mean, obviously, the coaches would watch the games all the time, but I would help them with actually, like I've told you before, cutting clips and organizing them so they would have building up from the back, the transitions, the pressing, the set pieces in order. They would know how to organize the training. The players would also see, they would ask me questions also about the individual opposition analysts. They would ask me questions about their players. One thing I did really good, and the coaches and players haven't thought about it, was doing a penalty analysis of a rival. And when we played them, the opposition actually had a penalty, and the keeper saved it because he knew where the player would shoot, because I told him before the game. That was like, I felt very good about it. I'm doing my job really good. Okay. Yeah. And then when we went into the playoffs, it was a different story, because we went away, I think, over 400 kilometers in a city where the stadium was very small. It was like the countryside. It's still a town, but smaller. And we lost 2-0. Mm-hmm. And the players were very sad. I mean, they were frustrated. The head coach tried to motivate them, to encourage them. I felt like we can turn things around, but it felt a bit impossible. Going to the second leg, things got very heated on the bench. So I was obviously filming the game from the stands, but it was an improvised stand, like a scaffold in between the benches, so I can see the both our coach and the away coach, getting to an argument every 5 minutes. So it's God, they're getting
not again.
They're getting into our heads, and I was very passionate back then, so I would also scream, So I had that because it was my first experience in Romania, and it was 0-0 at halftime. I didn't go into the dressing room. Mm-hmm. I stayed out. So I didn't want to to bother the coach with too much tactical information, because he had everything he needed. And then after halftime, we were able to come back 4-0 and go into the final. And it was unbelievable. And then a problem in the final was that in Romania, as an analyst, you're not allowed to sit on the bench. And the game was actually on live television for the first time, Wow. So I suggested before the match to the coaches, let's have live analysis on the bench. Let's do this. I'll get in the stream. I have my laptop in. I have a tablet as well. We can watch the stream together. I could do that in the first leg where we drew 1-1 because the referee didn't see me. And then in the second leg, I think someone saw me from the opposition staff and said, "Who's that? What's he doing? Is he a coach? Is he a coach?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a coach." But I didn't. In my contract, I wasn't a coach, so I couldn't have like a badge to sit on the bench. Oh. And the referee just sent me. And I stayed as a ball boy for the whole game.
A ball boy?
Yes. I stayed as a ball boy, yeah. And you can see me like during the game when the throwing would be from my side, you can see me shouting from behind the players, like a big ball boy, like 6'3" tall, yeah. It was very funny. The assistant coach told me, don't go into the stands, just sit here with us. But come very discreet. near us. Yeah, and then we were able to won 1-0.
Yes.
We did a very good game and got promoted, and it was a very amazing feeling because it was my first experience in Romania in professional football, and I'm already winning a trophy. So that gave me a huge boost. Like confident, I can do more.
Of course.
I can do this. I mean, I can get involved in Romania. I can do good things. And even the players told me, how does it feel to win a trophy on their first experience in a senior team in your country? It's unbelievable.
A lot of confidence for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a dream come true at that point.
Yeah.
As media, when we go to football matches, we are offered, well, it depends on what club you go to, but you can get food. Now, there seems to be a thing with football where there's Haribos in the changing room and some sweets. As an analyst, are you allowed to take your fair pickings of some sweets and some hot chocolate, maybe?
Oh, we have baklava now with the national.
Yes.
I've heard of this.
Is that the green?
Yes, green and red. Some are reds.
Oh,
yes.
So
I just go in and steal them.
as you should.
Especially after full time, because obviously I will let players dig in, and like when almost everyone is done with the showers, I'll just go in.
Is there often leftovers?
Yes, especially because it's very sweet. I mean,
Oh, no, there is.
You don't eat too much, do you?
Well, I do.
four or five pieces probably. We
4 or
also have
5.
chocolates, bananas, biscuits, everything like gels, proteins,
Yeah.
bars.
Yeah.
And I'll try and take 1 or 2, but not too much because then we have dinner.
And what is the dinner in Romania like for a football club?
Yeah, so we usually, I'm not too experienced in this, but we usually give like players fish, salmon, chicken, pasta. Sometimes we give like small desserts, fruits as well, all the time, bananas, apples. And we, at lunchtime especially, we used to have our own, I don't know how you call it here, soups.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
our own soups, with chicken soups, cow soup. Yeah, meat, beef is beef. Yeah,
Yeah.
That came across pretty different.
beef. And obviously, we'd have some like specific Romanian foods for them as well. But
We're big
that
fans of
depends on the match day we're in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're big fans of food, and we've had conversations with other guests from European foods as well. So, what would you recommend if we went there tomorrow? What would you tell us to try?
In Romania,
Yeah.
sarmale. They're like meat rolls rolled in cabbage.
Okay.
So like you have meat rolled in cabbage, and it can be like proper cabbage, but it's how do you call like pickles? The
Pickle.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
the
The things you get in burgers.
Yeah, and then we also have mamaliga.
Okay.
I don't know the word in English for the thing we used to create it with.
Is it savoury or sweet?
It's savory.
So- okay.
Yeah, and it's a yellow stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You've done some really interesting things, but obviously we have to speak about the historic tournament with the under-19s, as we
Yes.
did touch upon earlier. Firstly, it must be really exciting for everyone involved. What's draw day like for the Euros?
Funny story. On draw day, we had an analysis course I had to deliver for the analysts in Romania. So the federation organizes some analysis courses. So I had to be in work that day. And the assistant coach, I still remember, he calls me 10 minutes before the draw. Where are you? I said, I'm delivering a course. I can't be there. I said, oh my God, the head coach is here. He's waiting for you too. Sorry. I wanted to be there, but the guys that organized the course couldn't do it any other day. I said, I would just watch it live.
Yeah.
And I still remember, so obviously we were like pot 1, A1, so first group, and then we seen Spain. I was like, it's good. We played them. We can do this. Then I remember Denmark, like, okay, that's good as well. And then it was last team, it was between Montenegro and Germany.
Oof.
So when I saw Montenegro, I jumped.
Very happy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually jumped.
But you just about beat them in the 90th minute.
Yes, and that's my lesson. Never celebrate too early. I was celebrating already when I saw the draw. Montenegro, mate, they were amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't have like 4 or 5 starters. Yeah, so Adzic, who plays for Juventus now, was in the Club World Cup. Bulatovic, who's in Lens now, was actually called to the first team and scored and assisted. So I would take that over playing an under-19. So good call for the Montenegro national team.
Yeah.
And I think they had 3 suspended players as well, so yeah, 5 players. And all of those so it was a center back, it was a winger, and I think it was their striker, which were suspended. I forgot their names, sorry.
Well, I don't think my pronunciation of their names would be very good.
It's not that difficult because it's Serbian, so yeah.
By the way, the attendance of these games were pretty good. 6,000 in one, nearly 3,000 in another.
At the first glance, yes. But when you think about it, it's obviously the opening game, opening ceremony against Montenegro, and the stadium we try and fit them in was like 7,000, 8,000. So we didn't expect such a low attendance for the first game. And it was
you
because
thought it was low.
Yeah, because it was the first game. You know, like we promoted this tournament for more than 3 months.
Yeah.
So we expected people to come and encourage us because at the first glance you say, okay, they play Montenegro, it's going to be an interesting game. But at the same time, it's an under-19 game, so not that popular.
Yeah, of course.
You know, many players played in the second division, some played in the academies in Italy, Spain, and very few played in the Super League. And if they played, they weren't star players because they would be at the beginning of their careers. Yeah. So 3,000 was fair enough, but I was expecting at least 5,000, to be honest. We were also speaking in between the staff and saying, yeah, it's not that much. And we conceded very early. It's like, oh my God. It was a mistake of our 2 center backs, and they both are amazing. One of us is our captain, one plays in Mainz, under 23s. They were both amazing in the friendlies we did. We had the trust on them. And it was very weird to see that the pressure got to them, because that was it. It was a mistake of miscommunication. It's like, okay, Montenegro is 1-0 up in the 15 minutes or 13 minutes, something like that. Yeah. And we dominated the game, dominated first half, shots on target. We hit the crossbar once, I remember. We had big misses. Yeah, so, it was a thing that is the first official game. These players rarely play in, this environment, a competition environment at home in the international competition. Yeah. So it was something psychological. Second half, the coach says, no, I trust my players. I'm going to stick with them. I'm not going to any halftime substitution. And I completely agreed with him. Everyone agreed, We weren't bad. We just weren't lucky.
Just unlucky,
we conceded.
Yeah.
Of course. And we weren't able to score. If we equalized at halftime, maybe, could have won more than 2-1. Yeah. And then 60th minute, I think it was 2 subs. One of them was Bastianu. He wins a free kick. He crosses it, and the guy Marinko, who did the mistake on the first goal, together with the other centre back, scored. It was amazing.
He made up
the
for
first
mistake.
goal. Yeah, everyone was like, "Come on, we can do this!" Celebrating. We didn't take the ball from the net and put in them because we had time. 20 minutes left, and again we dominated. Didn't score. Hit the crossbar. No, the bar. Yeah. From a shot from distance again, and then I think the head coach introduced around 75th minute the Barbu, the striker, and he was a good sub for us, and he comes in, scores proper finish, striker finish, and everyone was nuts. Imagine on the first goal we actually broke the corner flag. Really? Wow. A Vardy thing, Jamie Vardy. Yeah, but it was a member of our staff that broke it unintentionally. So you can imagine everyone is into it. We're very emotional. We are here for our country.
It means so much.
It means a lot for us. Yeah. Even though we the host nation, it was a lot for us. We tried to do much more than people expected from us, because when the draw was made, the head coach said we're going to the semifinals. The federation didn't impose that to him. The president didn't impose. The technical director didn't impose that to him. He just said it. We're going to the semifinal, and I like that. He's brave. He has experience, and seeing him say that was, a boost confidence. I think not for me, but for the players as well. So he wants us to go into the semifinals. He didn't repeat that all over the training camp. He said it just then.
Okay.
And I think everyone, understood the point. And when we won that game, I was like, oh God, finally, it wasn't that easy.
Yeah.
I still remember I was talking with my friend from the medical staff. He asked me, what do you think the score is going to be like? I was like, I don't want to talk before. Oh, come on, say it. You analyze them a lot. I think we'll win 2 or 3-0. And when Montenegro scored, he was looking at me like,
it's wrong wording.
Spoken before, yeah. And I learned my lesson.
Exactly, yeah. Were there any players for Spain? Because obviously you did lose to Spain, but were there any players for Spain that stood out and have gone on to play now?
Yes.
And in particular who?
Cordero. I think Newcastle bought him now from Malaga. I'm not sure how his playing time is this season. Haven't been following up. So he was a starter from Malaga in La Liga 2. Newcastle, I think Newcastle got him as a free player actually. So it was interesting. In Malaga, I think did a mistake on his contract because he was a very interesting player. Another player that wasn't in the tournament was Hector Fort.
Barcelona now.
Yes,
great player.
From what I've heard, it wasn't in the news, but from what one of our players that played in Spain at Celta Vigo said that he got a nose operation during the summer.
Oh.
So he chose to do that, and it was in the tournament. Then another player was Pau Prim, I think he plays in Barcelona
Okay.
now. Another was Gian Virgili. He now plays in Mallorca. He's with the I met him in the under 21 as well. Another was Pablo Garcia with Real Betis.
Yeah.
So a lot of interesting player. Another one that should have been and wasn't because he was in the Club World Cup was Mark Guiu, the Chelsea.
Oh, yes.
So we faced him in October when he played that friendly, and I was actually looking forward for him to play because again, we did an amazing job stopping him. So I think we can do that again. And another one was I think Dani Munoz. He played in Atletico Madrid B, a very aggressive left back. You can see like he played with very good passion. You know, I liked him. You know, his attitude. Obviously, I didn't like it because he was against me, but I liked him as an individual. And the last one is the center back from Real Sociedad, who I think actually scored. I forgot his name.
And he plays there now still?
I think because he was in the under 21s now in November when he played in Sibiu.
Virgil?
Sorry?
Virgil?
No.
Martin?
Martin, yes. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. John Martin.
John Martin, yes.
And he's 19 years old.
Yes. He's born in 2006. Yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah.
And do you think the tournament, I think it was a big success?
Yes, of course, because no one expected us to win a game, even being at home, and let alone like getting to the semifinals. Because compared to my colleagues from the staff, I read the press a lot and the social media because of the age. I should stop doing that too much because it can get to your head. And
Really?
why I'm saying this is that after we lost to Spain 3-1, we did an amazing game. We played 3-5-2 like we did in October. 1v1s all over the pitch. We equalized, like we had a penalty not given, a goal cancelled for offside. We wasn't offside.
Yeah.
So, we had a good game, could have won that as well. And then you look in the comments of what people are saying. Oh, Denmark is going to destroy them. Denmark will not give us a chance, Spain, thank God Spain didn't score more. And I was like, well, have you seen the game? Like, and you realize that a lot of people that are fans or just watch the results don't understand how, players work. They're still humans as well. It's normal to lose games. And instead of encouraging some, people didn't expect us to win against Denmark, and we just did the opposite. So yeah, that was the biggest milestone for us, that game against Denmark. Yeah.
And same question again. What players for Denmark stood out?
It was with Danish names. I'm not so good, but it was Schwartau, I think.
Okay.
I think the one that plays for Norwich City again is a striker. Might be
for Norwich, yes.
That might be Schwartau.
Could
Right?
be. Maybe.
Yeah, it was the. Still remember number 13, right back. He can play like right wing back as well because Denmark played a 3-4-3. And I also liked one of the center backs now plays in Verona. I think it's something with T, Tomgard. Anyway, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, Tommy or I don't know. I forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah, these three players really stood out for me. And it was very interesting to see in Denmark because they really had the game philosophy, like Spain did as well, like Netherlands did too. They would rotate a lot.
Yeah.
So it's something like we've discussed in the beginning of the podcast. You would have players going from right to left, from the defense into the attack, from the midfield into the wide area. So you wouldn't know which player to mark. And that was the biggest benchmark for us in terms of live analysis. Because the live analyst from in the stands, he told me, our game plan doesn't work. They rotate too much. So instead of doing the pairs, the 1v1s we did all over the pitch, we tried to create, so Denmark created a box midfield. So what we try to do with that is that we bring our wingers inside, our wide midfielders inside, to cover their midfielders that were already there. Because what Denmark did was that they would bring their, I think it was the fullbacks, in the 3-4-3, they would bring the fullbacks inside and create the box. So we'd have our defensive midfielders mark those fullbacks. Yeah, so it was a very difficult challenge for us in terms of analysis. And then we managed to stop them from attacking too much, to have possession. I mean, they still had possession, but it was very difficult for them to advance in the middle zone, like they did in the first 20 minutes or so. And then we managed to score. And yeah, they were obviously forced more to attack. And were able to score even more, and that was the end of it.
Well, one of my final questions is before we speak about these players that I'm a big fan of in Romania. Now that you're not working with the national team currently because there's no camp, What are you up to? What fills your day to day?
What I'm up to, like in terms of the national team.
When you're not with the national team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're trying to work on a lot of projects together with UEFA, together with the technical strategy we have within the federation.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, 2 weeks ago we had a seminar with UEFA in Romania. It was a unique opportunity because it gave me the chance to organize this event together with the sporting director, to bring 11 different nations in that we talked only about analysis. So, yeah, it's not just an office job, but you try and go to different conferences about analysis, different conferences about modern trends in football. Last week we were in Düsseldorf in Germany, so we went in the Sports Innovation Hub, and we've seen like a lot of advanced technology regarding analysis, data analysis, streaming as well, you know, like everything that there is to do that can help football. And I'm trying to implement like loads of new workflows, ideas into the federation departments, especially with together with the data analysts we have now.
And one of my final questions is, how many different methods of analysis actually is there? Because obviously I'm sure people have their own preferred ways to do it.
Yeah, so you have, first of all, it's your own match analysis. So obviously the match is finished, you analyze your match, what you did wrong and right, and that is compared to the training you did during the week. So it's very important for us as analysts to understand what the coach actually does in training in order for us to communicate with him after the match, because if I don't understand what the coach has been doing during the week, then I'm useless as an analyst, And I keep saying that to some of the younger guys that try and come in. They try and tell, okay, give me this match, I'll try and analyze it. Yeah, but you don't actually know what we've worked. I have to give you the training session, the training plans, stuff like that, player profiles. So it's very difficult. And then second part, obviously, it's a training analysis. So you finish the match, you finish your analysis, see what you did right or wrong. Then together with training analysis, you try and obviously correct the wrong things you did during the match, implement your opponent, and try to work on the things that you're already good at, and obviously filming everything. So not just only being on the laptop, on the computer, tagging, coding, and watching games from live or from the television. So you have to be good with the cameras, with the drones, and it's something that's been implemented now. And then opposition analysis is also probably the most important part of my job right now with the federation, because we play all of these different nations, all of these with different players that play in different clubs. So it's very hard to analyze each player individually because each one of them comes from a different background. So now, for example, we're playing Kosovo. They have very good players, but they have a good context in their national team. They have very good players. They're a strong unit. But when you have to analyze them, you have to take clips from their league games from where they play. So we have players playing in Switzerland, Bundesliga, obviously the national championship in Kosovo, and I think there's some players that play now in Poland. So you have to prepare that for the head coach to understand, and then doing the whole report together with the tactical analysis of how Kosovo played, for example.
Last thing from me is I've got a list of players here like Borza, Tria, Reece Pop, who obviously they're all playing or they have played in similar clubs, if not the same clubs.
Yeah.
For you, who are the top few prospects that are coming through in Romanian football that we can expect to see on the big stage soon?
Right now, first names actually, I might be a bit subjective here because I've worked with them and I know how they are, I know how they're how good they can get.
Yeah.
So first thing would be Vermeșan from Verona. I think he's top scorer now in the Primavera League. He's made his debut in Serie A. He's been a very valuable player for them. So I think he'll be a good prospect. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next season, but I'll give him maybe 2 or 3 seasons to make his debut in one of the first top 5 leagues. So I count for that, And I think it will be very important for him, if not this season, because he's already with Verona, to get some experience in probably Serie B, a second division league in Europe, to get those minutes in the senior teams. Because, he's top scorer now with the under-20s, but I know he can do much more than that, like in that senior environment, So, then the second one would be David Matei from the Romanian Championship with the Universitatea Craiova. And it's very interesting to know that I've worked with him in Steaua Bucharest in the academy when he was an under-17 player. I was working with him in the national team, and now I've seen him in the under-21s. So it's very interesting to know a player from such a young age, when he was 16, now going to his 20s, from such a fragile age, to see that he's actually going to make a good prospect for the Romanian football. Because for him, I think he'll make his debut in the national team within 5 years' time, if he keeps it that way, of course. And same with Vermeshan, because Vermeshan was actually called up for the preliminary call-ups by the head coach of the first national team. So he might be there. You never know. I mean, it's a small chance. We called him too in the under-21s, but it's a small chance he might be there because the Romanian football now is facing, I wouldn't call it issue, but we don't have many good strikers in the league abroad that score goals, like proper number 9s.
Yeah.
And we have Burlija, he's 25, 26, not that young, but he's in his prime. He played with FCSB, but now that they play in the playouts, it's not so good for him. Then you have in Turkey, Dragush. He got injured. He's suspended most of the time now. So you need strikers.
Yes,
in Romanian football needs strikers. It also needs central midfielders. That's why I mentioned David Matei. Because initially when he got to Craiova, he wasn't a starter. So he was able to become a starter because someone got injured. And now the head coach relies on him. So he's been very liked by the squad. And I'm so happy to see that happening because even though it was during a circumstance by another one of his teammates being injured, it's still a good thing that he managed to get a starting place in the first 11.
Yeah, absolutely. And my final point is, obviously, you mentioned about forwards. Now, Denis Dragus, he's a good player, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a great forward. And I watched him at the Euros as well. And it seems like he's physical. He's got the passion. So what do you make of him?
Yeah, I like him because he's a player that can also play on the wing. He's very strong, like you said. He can be too aggressive at times. But I think the main issue now, not only with him, but we don't see much of him because he plays in the Turkish league for a while now.
Yeah.
And I think he could have done more than that because he was a very good prospect when he was young as well. And him being injured now and not playing for quite some time, it's going to be a problem for the national team. But yeah, I like him. And I'm just frustrated that he couldn't become much better than he is now. He's a good player, but
he had lots of potential and he couldn't fulfill it.
Especially after the Euros. Like I was expecting him to have a big move, even in Turkey. Like I was expecting him to be like in a top 5
Galatasaray
team.
or
not say Galatasaray because you have Osimhen there.
Of course,
But maybe he was in. I think he was in Trabzonspor. Yeah. He couldn't stay there. I think Eyüpspor is in the top 5 now as well. Samsunspor as well. I wanted him maybe to be there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go as far as like Beşiktaş or any other.
Fenerbahce.
Or Fenerbahce. But I would go for those teams in the Turkish league for him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What a podcast. Thank you so much. We always end it here with a handshake. Yeah. So the camera's there. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You.
Thank you very much.
Of course,
Jamie.
Harry.
Pleasure as
Thank you.
always.
Of course.